Hello, welcome back. I finally got a tripod, so new setup. Well, this video is about character development, and I'm going to start off by talking about books that I've written, and then talk about actual character development with myself versus the books that I wrote. Let's just get started. Okay, so when I was in high school into college, I wrote a few books. I've tweaked them once every 5 or so years or whatever. During my whole healing journey that's never ending, I decided to go back to these books and reread them and see what needs to be tweaked. Because at first I was just like, these are so outdated, I'm never going to be able to publish them, so forget it. But I'm reading them and I'm like, you know what, they're doable, because I've been on my reading era where I'm just reading a bunch of books, especially fiction, and I've been reading through them like this, and it reminded me of things that I wrote back in the day. So I was like, let me revisit them. And boy, they are a product of its time. But anyway, I wrote them in these thingamajiggers. And when I say it's a product of its time, it's just it's toxic. It's very toxic. In reading it, I'm able to see where my mind was at that time, the things I was consuming, or where I got these negative beliefs from. So the first book I wrote was about high school. I'm not going to share the title or whatever because, yeah, you know why. So I will share the character development in terms of like how I drew them. Let me see. So if you did not watch one of my previous videos during Vlogmas, I had pretty much announced I'm taking a break from drawing because it's turned into another job and it took the fun out of it, so I don't enjoy it anymore, so I'm taking a break. But while focusing on these books, it'll bring me back into wanting to draw, like drawing the characters again, which I'll get into. So I'm trying to see something. Hold up. So this first book I wrote when I was a sophomore in high school, and I actually shared it with friends as I was writing it, which was pretty cool. And one of my friends made the observation that the main character is basically like my alter ego, which is very true. But anyway, let me show you the characters. So this is the main character. This is her best friend. I drew this, when did I draw that? I think when I was still in high school. So you saw what they looked like there. This is what I drew once I got to college. Went from this, hopefully you can see that. Went from this to this. Then we have are they the villains? Yeah, they're not kind. So these are the two bad characters, I'll say. Basically bullying the main character. So that was then. These two are the bullies. I drew this in college. This is what I drew back in high school. So, and then I wrote descriptions for each character. Let's see what other characters. I should show this. Then I drew them in pen. I'm not showing that. Then we have the guys in the story, the main guys in the story. And we have what they look like, the latest drawings of them, I'll say. I didn't draw this person before, but anyway, I just wanted to show growth in terms of drawing. I can never say that. But yeah, that's that. So what I learned from this book is it's very, like, some of the things that the characters were saying were so outdated. Like, it was very negative about appearance wise, like hair, clothes. And reading that, I'm just like, oh my god, I can't publish this, because I don't think like that now, of course, but I thought that way back then because of things that I was hearing, things that I consumed, like on TV shows and reality TV. I used to watch a lot of reality TV. That was like the reality TV era, where there was like on VH1 and Bravo. I used to watch those. Consuming things like that, and then hearing things from other people too, just talking so negatively about how someone looks. And then I've heard that stuff about myself too. So I guess I just internalized all those things and wrote that in the story. So because I've done the work on myself and continue to do the work on myself, I'm able to read this and be like, this is not okay. I need to change a lot of this and rewrite it. So I do believe I can do it, but I have to rewrite quite a bit. So that's that one. But overall, the story is still pretty good, so I can definitely, I don't have to start from scratch. There's some good elements there. Like, overall the story is good, but it's just some of the dialogue is, it needs work. Okay. Oh wait, maybe I should read the, I kind of don't want to read it because, alright, so I'll just tell you, this story was basically about it's a dramedy about high school based off of a lot of experiences that I had in high school. My high school was a mess. It felt like a version of Degrassi. And I'll just leave it at that. Like, it was just, sometimes I would just walk around the halls and be like, what is this? So that's that. So if I ever do release this story, it'll probably be like, was it really that bad? Yes. Yes, it was. But some of it is probably dramatized to be more interesting. Okay, and then the other book that I wrote, this one I wrote when I was in college. So this book I didn't finish writing. The first one I did. The second one I had stopped because I didn't know where to continue the story. So reading the books that I'm looking at right now also probably gave me some inspo to finish this book. But anyway, trying to find some doodles. Not that one. I'm gonna block all the names and stuff because I have to protect my stories. You know, people like to steal from the small creators. Here I was like experimenting with what the character looked like. And there's a few, so there's a few other characters too, but I drew them over some math notes, so just ignore those. This is the main character here. This is what I'm thinking, this is what I thought I wanted the cover to look like. I think that title needs work, but I'm gonna block it out so you can't see it anyway. But anyway, the story is basically about a girl in high school going through the teenagers go through puberty and whatnot, self-esteem. She's very self-conscious, but she wasn't always like that. She ends up becoming self-conscious because of things that happened to her, and I'm not going to get into that, but that's basically what the story is. So she's just like learning how to the heater made a sound. Just learning how to build her confidence back up. And I wrote this when my confidence was at an all-time low. Okay. So I feel like this would be a good story to share because I don't think I've ever seen stories like this per se. Like, I can't get into detail, but I haven't read a story like this. So I feel like this would be a great thing to publish, but it needs a lot of work because the dialogue and like the things that were in here, a lot of it is toxic. In fact, it's more toxic than the first one. And it's probably because where my mind was at the time. So it was just very like, yeah, very outdated. A product of its time, again, because that's how people talked back then. But as of right now, it's very problematic. And even I'm not like comfortable with it because, you know, some people are overly politically correct and like the PC police. I'm not like that, but I can, like, I know when something is wrong and there's stuff in here that's just very uncalled for. So I have to take all of that out and rewrite. So this one, I actually have to rewrite a lot more because how I described some of the characters was very like unnecessary about weight and hair and stuff. So to be a little bit more detailed, when I was going to school and watching shows like Martin and stuff like that, they always talked about somebody's hair and weave and things like that. So that's what I ended up writing about certain characters in this book. And that's not cool. And being able to learn and grow, I realized that that's not cool. So I had to cut a lot of stuff out. And this is going to take a lot, even longer to work on, but I feel like I can do it. And if I want to ever publish a book, it would be this one for sure, because again, I haven't seen anything like it. Maybe there is something out there like it, but I personally haven't seen it. So yeah, like, I'm reading it and I'm just like, oh my god, you can't say that, you shouldn't do that, why would you, you know? So I have to change a whole lot about this, but you know, the thing of the main character here, because if you're a black woman, you get judged a lot, especially about your hair. So that's like one of the topics in here. Like, sometimes people have a hard time believing that black girls, black women can have nice hair, but it don't matter what length your hair is, it's still nice. Like, it's still beautiful. And that's one of the things that I had to learn, especially going on my hair journey, which is a whole nother topic that I've talked about on here before on this channel, but not like the in-depth version because that was quite the roller coaster. But I came through. So anyways, these are the characters I drew. This is a loose leaf, you probably can't even see it. This is the main character, and she was another originally very sassy character, But because of what happened, she became self-conscious and that personality just vanished. So she had to build it back up. Now, sometimes she was very out of pocket, but through her journey, I guess, she calmed that down. Thank goodness, because it's a bit much sometimes. But honestly, when I was reading it, she was irritating me. She was getting on my nerves, which is saying a lot because this character is basically based off of me. And she was irritating me. That speaks volumes. I'm like, reading it, so I'm just like, it's just so toxic. Ugh. Getting on my nerves. All she did was complain in the beginning of the book. I was like, girl, please, just stop. Because even now, like, when all you do is complain, that bothers me because you keep complaining, but what are you doing to fix that? So there's nothing wrong with complaining, but if that's all you're doing, that's a problem. Okay? So I can complain about stuff, but then when I catch myself complaining about it too much, I'm like, all right, that's not going to get me anywhere. How can I actually resolve it? Okay, so this character is considered like because she wasn't like the standard size at the time, which was basically like the trend that's coming back right now where you have to be super skinny. Because she wasn't super skinny, she was called fat, and her hair is short, so they make fun of that too. And I relate to that. That's what I'm saying. This character is heavily based off of me. I knew I wasn't fat, but to be called that and made fun of because of I gained weight and I looked chubby and I had a little, like I had chubby cheeks and had a little belly, It's just like Anyway, she didn't care what people thought, but something happened that made her like just completely shut down, which I again won't get into because hopefully I can just finish this and then y'all will be able to read it. So anyways, these are her friends and then other friends. I don't know if you can see that, but basically this is another dramedy. Like, that's my lane because I love comedy, but it also needs to be some serious moments too, because sometimes when it becomes too comical, then it's just like, all right. But another thing I realized about my some of my stories, there's one that I did write that I don't have here because the majority of it disappeared. I don't know what happened to it. Somebody took it. I don't know. I can't find it. I looked everywhere. Ain't nowhere to be found. Anyway, what I realized is that the villain in this book, she's very Tyler Perry character-ish, if that's even a term, but you know what I'm saying, right? Like if you've watched a Tyler Perry movie and you see the bad person, it's just so over the top and it's just like, all right, who's actually that ridiculous? Especially his later movies. We're not going to talk about that right now. But anyway, it was very Tyler Perry-esque. And I was just like, all right, this is a bit much. Let's tone this down. So yeah, I have to go back and rewrite that a little bit. But the book that I lost, well, I didn't lose it. It magically disappeared. The main villain in that story was just very Tyler Perry-esque, and I wasn't even really watching Tyler Perry at that time. So, I don't know, very over the top, and I don't mind not publishing that one, so it doesn't really bother me that I can't find it, but I wrote a lot, and I at least wanted to read it, but now I can't, so it is what it is. Anyway, yeah, so everyone's gone through their own drama or whatever, going through changes and whatnot. I think that's basically what I want to talk about. So in looking at character development through these stories when I had started writing it again years later after I had first wrote it. I realized a huge difference from when I first started, because when I first started, like I said, the character was so irritating to me. But then at the end, at least where I'm at right now, because I didn't finish this one, I can see that I had some growth and the character actually grew because I grew, right? And so, same thing with the first book I wrote. That character wasn't irritating. It was just like her mouth was kind of like wild. There's just certain things you shouldn't say. But I know I've been growing, but being able to reread these and see where my mind was at back then is so different than where I'm at right now. So even if I don't release these stories, at least I'm able to see the growth that I've gained over the years, which is fabulous. In terms of current character development, this year I am really on a mission to get my ish together, to put it frankly. Yeah. So I won't get into details, but one of the things, if you've noticed, I've been saying I'm tired. So I posted a shorts and a video about being tired, because one day you just get tired of being tired, and that's where I'm at. And so I am on a mission to stop being tired. That means getting more rest. That means saying no more often. That means setting boundaries, like stricter boundaries. I have boundaries, but there's some that's missing, is what I'm trying to say. I have boundaries, but there's some that's missing. And then, not just with people, like other people, but also with myself. That's a big one, okay? Oh yeah, and slowing down, like not always doing something. Because I've said before, like, it feels like I'm always working. If it's not work, then it's personal work. I don't mind that, but there needs to be balance. So I'm just trying to figure out how to balance everything, and I've been trying to figure it out for years. But this year, I'm going to really be on it. Not saying that that's my New Year's resolution, because I don't do those. But it's more so just like a goal that I'm setting that I would like to start this year and then moving forward. So it's like from this year onward, not just for the year, it's for this moment onward, and not putting pressure on it. So, because it's not going to be easy. So as I give myself grace and just gradually work towards it, then I'll get there. My plan was to just show parts of that journey on this channel. I don't know what that's gonna look like. And even though I won't necessarily be drawing, I'll still be doing other stuff like DIYs and hair stuff, and maybe I could find some more old drawings that I can roast like I used to. I don't know, we'll see, but yeah, that's it. That concludes this video. Hopefully you enjoyed. I noticed I got more subscribers, so thank you so much for subscribing and tuning in. And I'll see you, or you'll see me, because I can't see y'all. You'll see me in the next one, if I decide to be on camera. Okay, bye.